we're going to have a look at now are problems that we can solve using equations of the forms x times y equals 8. So the first thing you need to do with these sorts of problems is break down the information that you have and work out the relationships between the different variables. So if we have a look at this example here, 4 scouts on an expedition calculate that their remaining supplies will last them from 9 more days. How long would this same amount of food last if there were 6 scouts on expedition? So the information we've got here is that there are 4 scouts, that the remaining supplies, so this is what we are considering, and also 9 more days. So basically there's a relationship between the amount of food, the number of scouts, and how many days the food will last on. So if we put in some symbols here, so let's do N for the number of scouts and D for the days. So basically the relationship is between the number of scouts, how many days, and how much food they have. We look and say this is the number of scouts. So N being the number of scouts, and A being the amount of food that they have available. So if we substitute in now the information we know for each of those things, so we know we've got 4 scouts, enough food for 9 days, and that equals however much food they have, which we aren't actually told, but we know it's a set amount. We also know that the amount of food isn't changing, but what we're going to look at is what would actually happen if we had 6 scouts, and what is then our unknown is how many days they could survive on that amount of food. So we're having a look in those two situations, the amount of food is the same. So what we can see by looking at this is that 4 times 9 is now, because this is equal to the specific amount of food, but this expression here is also equal to the same amount of food, so therefore these two things must be the same. So 4 times 9 must be equal to 6 times D. So what that means is if we want to solve this to find D, we need to divide it by 6, which means we need to divide the other side by 6 also. So what we then end up with is 36 divided by 6 is equal to D. Therefore, D is equal to 6. Okay, so D equals 6 means that represents 6 days. So the question was, how long did the same amount of food last if there were 6 scouts on expedition? So we need to make sure we answer that question directly. So we say the same amount of food will last 6 scouts.